Films have been shaping our collective mindset for decades. We see lookalikes and remind ourselves of the great actors of our time. We also see embarrassing things and can't help remembering when it happened to us or someone we know. The more we're exposed to something, the greater its hold over our references become. We look into that image or set of images repeatedly, eventually grasping tightly and making it part of our developed persona. How many didn't want to be our favorite characters in TV shows and films? Stories not only help us frame daily life, but they help us get revitalized for the coming problems, reminding ourselves of the courage or stylishness seen by the titular heroes of said work. Video games, being an audiovisual medium like films, were not far in implementing the enriching threads of writing a story. They would give our commands meaning and simultaneously envelop us in the lives and struggles of heroes or ordinary men and women.
The final gunshot was an exclamation mark to everything that had led to this point. I released my finger from the trigger, and then it was over.
Max Payne stands as a stark example of how far narratives can go in a medium known for long-lasting playthroughs or cash grabs, even when there's little to work with. The hardworking developers at Remedy and their novice writer Sam Lake managed to create a thrilling graphic novel with interesting, witty writing subtleties, punctuated with innovative gameplay. The story is fondly remembered by the fans and creators themselves, but in the many conversations about the work, the effect of movement and feedback have on the over-the-top presentation is not properly noticed. There's only so much witty writing can do to make you feel the story unfold in a game, but Sam Lake and the team at Remedy managed to create a spectacle for decades to come. It was time to call it how it is. One of the other inspirations and references used was cinema, specifically Hong Kong cinema. The films that on their own managed to spark an entire manner of filming action in Hollywood would also move the development of computer games to experiences never seen before, ones that hold up to this day. Our titular hero is living in the wastelands of a former paradise. He looks for catharsis in the decrepit hallways and sewage-infested minds looking for trouble. The stages are set from the bottom of the soul and reaching finality at the marvels of mankind's work, an unholy crusade through the worst their souls have to offer. This is where our control of Max begins. The cramped subway stations give us a taste of the combat to come and the narration to unfold. Inaccurate guns feel clumsy at first, but when you realize the mediocrity of your enemies, everything becomes clear. Max is in a state of panic. He runs through hallways looking for an answer. He feels the warmth of that fireplace but can't seem to grasp its source. A one-man army in search of hell. There was business to deal with the devil and his minions. Max Payne comes from a generation of games that didn't homogenize its control schemes and gameplay flow. This makes it initially cumbersome, but manageable. The level design is trying to tell you the possibilities of your death and how traversal is much more than exiting and entering rooms or hallways. Taking advantage of the dense and metro setting makes most of your battlegrounds into liminal spaces. For those that don't know what this means, the uncertain transition between where you've been and where you're going physically, emotionally, or metaphorically, when referring to the levels and story unfolded. The same manner of issues dealt with through gameplay are also presented to us narratively. Max is on the road of vengeance and can't find the end. He's unable to find the proper direction as the rooms echo the same tragedy, hell on earth. The battles inside these spaces are ingenious as well. The lack of possibilities for movement and the faulty accuracy regarding your weapons forces you to get close and personal. This is where stylishness becomes functionality. What began as a mere highlight for your success, giving you a slow motion view of your victory as you finish the last foe, becomes the bedrock of design for Max's Payne. The mechanic is known as bullet time, serving as a reward for your kills and manifestation of the frenzy that has taken over Max. What begins as a simple engagement with goons that have Berettas or shotguns transform into professional hit squads armed with M4s, MAC-10s, and semi-auto shotguns. This forces you to make a virtual reality the inspirations and subtleties present to the story and designs. Learning how to use the transitory nature of the levels becomes paramount. Funneling enemies through corners and baiting them to blind spots by using doors in crossfire becomes a necessity for your victory. For something that had never been done before, and that even to this day serves among few for quality references regarding this type of genre, it's quite profound. belonging to an era of development not seen again. Their inspiration belonging to a quality of art responsible for modern classics. John Woo needs no introduction to the contemporary mind. Well, maybe to those younger it might. Responsible for films like Hard Boiled and The Better Tomorrow, films renowned for their stylish, resonating action sequences and heartwarming stories. Ones that provided foundation for action films of the time and modern iterations in the genre. Stories that were iterations for the films. Ones with protagonists that were forced from decisions made in weakness instead of reacting out of strength. They knew mixing these concepts would work, already possessing an excluded cop with a heart of gold, one that cost too much to bear alone, then giving us a way to enact revenge in an alluring way, serving justice with a pointed glare. So for anyone that's interested in Max Payne, or even remotely interested in video games that focus on a story and have a good gameplay loop that synergizes with that story, I can recommend Max Payne. It's an exceptional work of art, and I can only say good things about it. So if you liked the video, leave a like, subscribe, and make sure to comment what you think about it. Thank you. See you next time.
What